Okay, so welcome. So, firefighters from the Denver Fire Department have been dispatched to a call at a metro stop in the downtown business district. While attempting to treat someone, a firefighter was stabbed. 2 of your officers have been dispatched and are on scene. They advise the firefighter is bleeding heavily, and the suspect, who is armed with a knife, has run away on foot.
Okay. As the sergeant on duty for that day, I'm going to take command of the situation by immediately letting dispatch know that I'm en route to the location. My understanding is that a firefighter has been stabbed and suspect has fled. I want to know with dispatch that EMS is en route and that they can respond to the scene along with officers. It sounds like if the suspect is no longer there, I feel that it's safe for them to get there immediately and respond to the injuries of the firefighter. I also want dispatch to air the description of the suspect, direction of travel, what if they left by what means, whether it's a vehicle or some other, whatever the circumstances are. I want to know that information so my officers have that and they can follow through with it. Sounds like dispatch had already sent officers to the location, and so I will, upon arrival, be the incident commander. I will take command of the scene. I will ensure that a perimeter is set up so that scene is secure, so the evidence is not contaminated or damaged, and everything is securely in its place. And from then, I have 2 things going on now. I have the scene, and I also have the suspects that have fled the area, and so I will be directing those 2. I will have my corporal respond and work closely with me so I can have that additional assistant and resource because I can't do everything all at once, so I want to make sure that I'm able to delegate. And so with my corporals, I utilize them. The corporal, I will let them know that to work with the officers and getting the description of the suspect and following through with whatever direction travel that they went. For example, if they is known that the vehicle has left the area and the description is given, have officers immediately search the area. If the suspect is on foot, then I will also have the officers respond. If they're on foot, I will have additional resources called in. For example, if there's any bike patrols in the area, then I will have them directly respond there because bicycles are able to maneuver around traffic and get into alleys and some of the other smaller areas. Also, I will have the K9 unit raise them up through the air and let them know that they need to respond to the scene so they're ready if the suspect is located in, let's say, a housing area or a warehouse, they will be readily available. At the same time, I'm ensuring that the firefighter has been either transported or their wounds are being taken care of, and I will notify the investigations unit of that district that they need to respond and what they have, the scene that they have there. I will ensure that the officers on scene at the crime scene have first identified the witnesses or potential parties that are involved, make sure they're separated and that statements are gathered from them. And so at least that portion has been started. I will advise a crime scene to respond to the location so they know that they can be prepared to start the process of that, even if it doesn't begin immediately. It's tremendously helpful that they are aware of it, that way they can prioritize it, because sometimes they get dispatched to a lot of different scenes. And so with that, I'm going to continue to push the resources out to try to locate this suspect. I'm going to contact Halo and see if there's any video surveillance that can assist in identifying the suspect or the vehicle or any other parties involved. And air the description if there is one. I will go over the off the statements that are provided by witnesses, perhaps they can be of assistance.
One of your officers has located a person they believe to be the suspect seated on a bench on the 16th Street Mall. The male is wearing the same clothes, holding a knife that is covered in blood. Your officer advises he has a suspect at gunpoint, but has remained seated on a bench and is not responding in any way.
Okay. With that information, I will respond immediately to the area and have dispatch also have additional officers respond to where that officer is. I will have the officer instruct them to let us and keep myself and dispatch informed of exactly what is happening, transpiring if the suspect flees, but I will instruct them to take a position of advantage, of safety, of cover, and to wait for additional resources to arrive. Once I'm seen, I'm going to assist with negotiating the compliance of that suspect. So if the suspect, although we have not positively identified as him being involved, we're going to treat it as that based upon the circumstances and information that we have, the totality of circumstances, he matches the description. We're going to go ahead and move forward as if right now that is the suspect and we're going to detain him. So the information is that he's at gunpoint and he's just sitting there, and I'm going to utilize the officers on scene. I'm going to instruct them to use their CIT skills, critical incident tactics, to use it's going to be all based on the decision-making model that the department uses, and that is first the command presence, their voice commands, and let them know, give them clear instructions on, we are the police department. We want you to stand up, put your hands behind your back, and not to move. And if they comply, then we will go ahead and place them in custody and find out his identity. If he does not comply and he still remains there without taking any action, we'll continue to talk to him and let him know that what we're doing, what our purpose is, that we need to talk with him, and we're going to try to de-escalate the situation. So take it from a situation where it's non-compliant into a manner where he is compliant, and I believe that through giving clear instructions that he's going to understand what our purpose is, and we're not there to harm him, but simply to further our investigation and gain compliance that way. It's going to be my first tactic. As long as he remains seated and we can talk with him, then we'll continue that process. If he becomes combative or resistant, then I'm going to have to use the other resource available to me, which is less lethal. For example, a taser. If he becomes actively aggression per our policy, anybody who is shows active aggression, we are authorized to use taser in order to gain compliance. If, for example, he just stands up and he refuses to go into custody, or, for example, just putting handcuffs on him, we will use hand control methods in order to place him into custody.
Okay. The family of the suspect has shown up on scene. They want access to their family member immediately. They're demanding you do not hurt or kill the suspect because he is mentally ill. They tell you that they were having a nice day on the 16th Street Mall, but lost track of him and are visibly upset.
Okay. It's actually very beneficial to have family or friends arrive on the scene because they can give us information that we didn't have before. For example, now that we know that this person has a mental disability or some type of impairment, and so we are going to let the family know that the party is safe, that he's not hurt, and we're going to thank them for showing up. But at that time, they're not able to speak with them. That we're going to try to get some more information as far as, does he need medication? Does he, what is his level of communication? Can he talk? Is he nonverbal? And really try to let them know that they're there to help us, and then when the time is right, we're going to give them access to to their family members so that they can talk with them.
One of your officers tells you, "Sarge, I got the shot. I can end this now. Let me take the shot." And then after that says, "Sarge, are you going to authorize this or what?"
Okay, I will absolutely. I'm glad that officer is verbalizing what he's going to do. That way I can react properly, and I'm going to let that officer know that he needs to not take the shot, give him clear, loud instruction that he is not to move forward with any type of lethal force. The situation at hand does not meet the lethal force requirement by statute or by the department policy, which says that we are only authorized to use force given the totality of circumstances to defend ourselves or a third person from the threat or imminent threat of lethal force. So I let him know that the party is in custody and he needs to holster his weapon, and that situation, at that time, it appears that that officer is best to not be directly involved. I will let them know that they need to help in another way. For example, I will let them know that they need to perhaps speak in on the report, respond, go ahead and go back in service and handle calls, but just not be directly involved in the situation right now based on his reaction and him getting ready to shoot when it was not the right time to do that.
Is there anything else that you want to follow up on throughout the scenario?
Yes, in summary, given the situation, the investigation is going to handle the stabbing. Our officers are going to handle the party that's in custody and the family members. And so I'm going to take this opportunity to, once I ensure that all the reports are completed, and they're completed in a, as department policy, thorough, good grammar, complete, concise, I will begin to put together a debriefing, organize that, and so I can meet with the officers that are directly involved and let them know what things that were good that they did and what things they could have done better. I will get their feedback as well, and let them know that how things are best handled. For example, let them know that the officer that located the suspect and that he did not immediately engage any type of force. I'll let them know that that was a good decision on his part, and also let them know that the other officer that once the suspect is in custody or detained or identified, and that he was not within policy of using force, and I will let him know that he needs to review the policy, and I will sit down with him one-on-one and direct him on how he should have handled it. I will document it in what our department uses as journal entries, and so I will document that I instructed him that he did go over policy, and I will follow up with him that he can attend some classes, whether it's online. We utilize Police One as online training. They have great videos on exactly these type of situations, or the Police Academy or the department puts on various other training. For example, the CIT, there are CIT refresher classes in which he can utilize. And then also I will just use the opportunity in general to give all the officers underneath me and my detail roll call training on how to handle critical situations and the proper use of force, when we can use that, when we can't use that. It's important that all officers are reminded that all our decisions need to be based on the mission of the department. which is in conjunction with the community. We will provide a police department that focuses on crime prevention in a respectful manner, demonstrating that everybody matters.
Okay, thank you.